evening, folks. Welcome to the West Goshen Township Board of Supervisors April 17th, 2018 meeting. If we could all rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Folks, as usual, we're announcing to silence all your cell phones and any other devices you may have. Also, make the announcement every month that audience members may be audio or video recorded by third parties in addition to our own recording if we're going to make public comment during this public meeting. Number 4 on the agenda is our attorney, Mr. David Bruman, here to give us a Sunoco Mariner 2 update. Mr. Bruman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. As you know, we've been pursuing the litigation against Sunoco to enforce the settlement agreement with respect to their placement of automatic safety valves in the township. We are coming to the end of that litigation. Discovery issues have been amicably resolved. We filed today a motion to amend the complaint to make it clear that we're asking for 3 separate pieces of relief. One is to make sure they do not place a safety valve on a Janik 2 property, which they purchased unbeknownst to the township. 2, to place it on the SPLP use area, which is adjacent to their pump station. And 3, to have their redesign reviewed by our safety expert, Richard Cooper. That case is scheduled to go to a hearing next week on the 25th or 26th in Harrisburg. There'll then be briefings scheduled, and it should be before the full PUC for decision in September. That is my update. Any questions?
Any questions from the audience? Okay, Mr. Bruman, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good luck. Next item on the agenda is number 5. We have a hearing, number 1-2018, on relocation of a liquor license for Acme Markets, located at 907 Paoli Pike, Westchester, Pennsylvania.
Mr. Chairman, if we can have this done, set up for about 2 minutes.
Absolutely.
Take a quick break.
Mr. Zoller? Yes. Excellent.
Mr. Zoller is the attorney for the application. We're just going to pass out some exhibits here. Well, yeah, let me just get things started, if I may, Mr. Chair. This is an advertised hearing. A hearing is required pursuant to the Pennsylvania Liquor Code when an applicant to the Liquor Control Board wishes to transfer a liquor license from somewhere else within Chester County into West Goshen Township. In this case, the applicant is Acme Markets, Inc., and Acme wishes to transfer liquor license, its restaurant liquor license number R15889, from a location outside of the township into the township. I believe it was in West Whiteland Township, and they seek to transfer it to the Acme Market at 907 Paoli Pike in West Goshen Township. A public hearing is required to be held by the Board of Supervisors, and the board is required to act on a request from an applicant accordingly. The public hearing is to afford both the board and the public the chance to comment on the proposed transfer of the liquor license, and the board's approval is required before the applicant can go to the Liquor Control Board and ask them for approval. So the board's approval is not necessarily final approval of the transfer, but it's a prerequisite to the transfer ultimately approved by the Liquor Control Board. Mr. Zoller is here on behalf of the applicant, and Mr. Zoller, why don't you take it away? Yeah, this hearing was advertised twice. It was advertised, today is the 18th, so it was advertised, 17th, I'm sorry, 17th, so it was advertised the 3rd and the 10th of April for a public hearing tonight.
Hi, my name is Greg Zoller. I'm an attorney with Flaherty & O'Hara, and I represent Acme Markets, Inc. With me tonight is Dan Croce, Acme's Executive Vice President of Operations, Kerrigan McKay, Licensing Manager, Matt Greenberg, the Training Manager, and Laura Mahan, the Store Director. We are here tonight to request that West Goshen Township approve a resolution permitting the intermunicipal transfer of a restaurant liquor license from outside the township to within it, pursuant to revised liquor code title 47, 461B3. The restaurant liquor license would be transferred to Acme Markets for its use in the new restaurant that is to be located within the existing grocery store located at 907 Paoli Pike, Westchester, PA. The liquor code permits the PLCD to approve the transfer of the license from any other municipality in Chester County to another municipality in Chester County, so long as you, the receiving municipality, issue a resolution approving the transfer. The standard to be applied by the receiving municipality is contained in the Liquor Control Board's regulation, which states that the receiving municipality must approve the transfer unless it finds that doing so would adversely affect the health, wealth, peace, and morals of the municipality. With the passage of Act 39, that went into effect back on August 8, 2016, the legislature restated the purpose of the Liquor Code. According to the legislature, it is the purpose of this act to reform the system by which alcohol is dispensed and controlled within this Commonwealth, to reflect the changes in the marketplace while continuing to protect the welfare, health, peace, and morals of the citizens, and to provide for the operation of a retail system that promotes competition and convenience. Another big change that the legislature made to the Liquor Code under Act 39 is that now all restaurant liquor licensees, including eating place or retail dispenser licensees who convert their license to restaurant licenses, can apply for and obtain a wine expanded permit, which permits the licensee to be able to sell 4 750 milliliter bottles of wine to go. Prior to the passage of Act 39, restaurant licensees could only sell wine for on-premises consumption. Based on Acme's operating and business model, the transfer of this liquor license to Acme's restaurant at its existing store will not affect the health, welfare, peace, and morals of the township or its residents. In order for you to make a decision on Acme's request for an intermunicipal transfer of a restaurant liquor license, let me provide you with some background information on Acme Markets. Acme Markets has been in business for 126 years and has been a member of the West Goshen Township business community, serving the residents and the community of West Goshen Township since August 20, 1958. Currently, Acme leases the property from Capital Enterprises, Inc., the owner of the property. Acme operates approximately 175 stores in 6 states: Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, New York, and Connecticut, employing 18,374 individuals. Acme is owned by New Albertsons LP, formerly known as New Albertsons Inc., one of the largest supermarket companies in the United States, employing more than 281,000 individuals nationwide. Acme is also known for the longevity of its workforce. Many of its employees come from families with multiple members and multiple generations who are still working for the company to this day. Currently, Acme employs 33 full-time employees and 44 part-time employees at its West Goshen Township location. As a responsible member of the business communities in which it does business, Acme and its parent company participate in a wide range of national, regional, and local charitable endeavors. The Acme store located in West Goshen Township has also participated in its support events through its charitable giving that were designed to benefit the local charity schools and various community sports organizations. Acme Market plans to remodel a section that's already existing 47,032 square foot grocery store in order to include a 2,763 square foot restaurant with an indoor seating area to accommodate 30 patrons at one time. There will not be any outdoor seating at this location. Moreover, Acme's restaurant will boast a wide selection of freshly made prepared food for consumption on the premises or to take home, such as hot and cold sandwiches, gourmet salads, and quick meals, to name just a few. The minimum requirement to hold a restaurant liquor license is 400 square feet, seating and food to serve 30 patrons at one time. Acme's in-store restaurant will exceed the minimum square footage requirements under the liquor code. As an added component to Acme's restaurant and as a convenience for its customers, Acme is requesting the transfer of a restaurant liquor license to permit the sale and consumption of beer and wine for both on and off premises consumption. With the passage of Act 39 back in 2016, which went into effect on August 8, 2016, restaurant licensees who obtained a wine expanded permit are now able to sell wine for off-premises consumption. What we are requesting tonight is nothing new or unusual. Over the past 10 years, the PLCB has approved liquor licenses to over 500 grocery store, convenience store-based restaurants that have interior connections to the unlicensed convenience or grocery store. In fact, Acme itself today currently operates 24 such restaurants in its stores in Pennsylvania and is looking to open 3 additional stores prior to July of this year. What I've passed out, I'd like to have marked is the applicant's Exhibit A. We have a...
Why don't we call it A1?
We can call it A1.
Okay.
That basically gives you an idea of how the store is going to be set up. When I get done with my presentation, we can go over the plan if anybody has any questions. The restaurant hours of operations will be Monday through Saturday from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Sunday from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Acme's hours of operations are far less than what the liquor code provides for the on-premises consumption and off-premises consumption of alcohol. Under the liquor code, licensees are able to start selling alcohol at 7 a.m. and be able to continue those sales until 2 a.m. And that would be Monday through Saturday, and from 9 a.m. On Sundays until 2 a.m. The store hours of operation will be Monday from Sunday from 6 a.m. to 12 a.m. There will be a dedicated restaurant manager who will receive the Bureau of Liquor Control Enforcement developed Responsible Alcohol Management Program owner-manager training, as well as the VLCE's seller-server training. All other restaurant associates will receive the RAMP seller-serving training program. In addition to completing the RAMP training programs, Acme's restaurant employees will also be required to complete Acme's extensive in-house alcohol server training program. All restaurant associates working in Acme's restaurant will be 21 years of age or older. Moreover, Acme's establishment itself will also become RAMP certified. Acme will employ a 100% carding policy. It will utilize an ID card reader to read the customer's age and to make sure that a valid ID is being used. Acme will also utilize a cash register lock system, which requires the clerk to input the customer's birthday from their ID before the cash register will be allowed to process and record the transaction itself. In essence, Acme's policy will be no ID, no service, regardless of age. Acme will offer single servings of beer for on-premises consumption and up to 192 fluid ounces or 2 6-packs of beer for off-premises consumption and up to 3,000 milliliters of wine to go. All beer and wine purchases must be made at the designated cash registers located on the restaurant premises. The other store cash registers located in the unlicensed grocery store. area will not be able to accept beer and wine SKUs. Beer purchased for on-premises consumption must be consumed only in the restaurant seating area. Customers will not be able to shop with an open beer, and there will be signage to that effect posted prominently on the licensed premises. In the restaurant, there will be several security cameras that cover the restaurant area and the designated cash registers. In addition, the restaurant associates and the license manager will physically monitor the restaurant areas and the seating areas on a regular basis. There will be no sales of distilled spirits. Smoking will not be permitted anywhere on the licensed premises. There will be no arcade games, pool tables, or live entertainment. However, there will be a couple of TVs in the seating area providing local programming. As I mentioned earlier in my presentation, Acme operates 24 other restaurants in Pennsylvania that have the same policies and procedures in place. None of those stores have ever been cited for sales to minors, sales to visibly intoxicated persons, or for any other violation involving the sale of beer or wine. Acme represents the gold standard of safety in the service of alcohol in its in-store PA restaurants dating back to August of 2014. Acme has been, and will continue to be a responsible business owner and a member of the business community that is making a significant investment in its West Goshen Township location. And that investment will need to be protected by responsible management and well-trained employees. This will not be a place where people will just hang out to drink, but it will be a well-lighted, safe, and secure place where customers can purchase prepared food in a six-pack, a beer, or a bottle of wine to take home, or dine in and have a beer or two with their meal. For these reasons, we request that West Goshen Township issue a resolution approving the intermunicipal transfer of the restaurant liquor license into the township for use by Acme Markets. And if anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to entertain.
Mr. Zoller, do you plan to call any of the folks as witnesses, or depending on questions?
Well, if there were any questions, yeah.
Okay. So no formal witness list, but be appropriate for board questions at this time.
I would like to open it up to the public for any questions. Any questions from the presentation that you just heard, folks? Anyone? Dr. White.
Yeah, you should come up, and you should also identify yourself for the record and be sworn in by a court reporter. No, you can come over here and do that.
And just use the microphone so you can hear you clearly.
Doug White, West Goshen Township.
Okay.
Raise your right hand.
Yeah, go.
Do you swear to testimony about the file, be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes. Okay, the question is just exactly what beverages will be sold, just wine and beer? No.
It'll just be wine and beer, that's correct.
But will the license allow the potential sale of other more beverages?
Does the license allow it? Yes. The license allows the sale of beer, wine, and liquor. Our operating model does not provide for the sale of liquor. We have no bar or any type of environment that we would be going into.
Okay. Have there been any studies done at the shopping center involving DUIs or drunk driving incidents at the shopping center?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the audience? Now we'll give an opportunity for supervisor members to ask questions if they have any.
One,
Mr. Purnell.
what sort of impact do you think you'll have on the liquor store that's down the corner of the shopping center?
Are you talking about the steak store? I would imagine it would basically probably be a minimal impact on their business. They're going to be carrying a much more larger variety of wines. They're able to sell hard liquor by the bottle. And this is actually something that the PLCB is actually promoting through the expanded wine permits, because it's putting it in different, various different locations and different outlets.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Any other board members? Just a quick follow-up question on Dr. White. Your license does allow for hard liquor, but you're not planning on having that. Is there any potential in the future that you would be moving in that direction?
The only way that they would move in that direction is if they came out with a liquor permit that would probably be akin to the wine expanded permit where it would be able to be sold to go.
So nothing in the foreseeable future?
No, not at all. The stores are not designed to turn it into a bar.
Depends on where you shop, I think.
There's
Lieutenant
some-
Dominio, I just wanted to see if you had any questions or any feedback, and enforcement questions perhaps, or anything that might be relevant to the sale of liquor.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's obviously a model that many grocery stores are
If
doing.
you could come up on things.
You should.
You swear the testimony about the file will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes. No, this is an intuitive model. It's no different than many grocery stores in the area. It's a quick cash and go. It's usually convenient, almost like a Wawa for milk. You know, there's no lines, no waiting. 2 TVs, it's the same model that many of the grocery stores have. So no, and then in further to what Dr. White asked, I don't see that being an impact, to increase, the instances of DUIs in that area.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Appreciate it.
Mr. Beal, I believe Carmine's
Yes.
right down in the same shopping center currently sells beer.
Yes, they do.
So it's just a similar.
Well, at this point, I guess we entertain a motion.
Yeah, well, if there's no more comment, no more public comment, it'd be appropriate to have a motion to close the hearing before we take action.
Okay, well, I'll take a motion to close the hearing. I'll second that. Very much. All those in favor? Aye.
Now it would be appropriate, oh, I'm sorry. It would be appropriate to consider what has been marked as resolution number 9-2018, a resolution of West Goshen Township, Chester County, Pennsylvania, approving the intergovernmental transfer of restaurant liquor license number R15889 into West Goshen Township, and that approves the transfer of that liquor license to the Acme Markets, Inc. location at 907 Paoli Pike, Westchester, PA 19380.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve, yes. I'll second that.
Mary?
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Zeller.
Thank you.
Okay, folks, the next item on the agenda is discussion and possible approval of a final subdivision plan for a 3-lot consolidation for, I never say this right, Goshen at the northwest corner of the 322 bypass at Phoenixville Pike. See Mr. Calabreco. Good evening, Mr.
Good evening, board members. This is a simple subdivision plan that we placed before the township. The planning commission last night unanimously recommended approval. Recall that 2 months ago, the board already approved a 3-lot, really it's a lot consolidation plan for the Drawing parcel, which is the first step in facilitating transfer of these various parcels to the eventual developer. Ray Grahowski is here to answer any questions on behalf of the developer. When we did our original 3-lot configuration, we had to change it shortly after the board passed it because certain development units had to be reallocated to different phases of the development. Recall that by approving this plan, the board is not approving the lot configuration shown underneath the individual lots, the house lots. That was already approved last year. This hasn't been recorded. This is just, as we said to the board before, approval and recordation of this plan will allow the Duranian family to convey in bulk the first phase of the development to the developer, Reeser Land Development. I guess, I don't know when the subsequent phases will be conveyed to Reeser. It'll depend on the market. Hopefully it'll be conveyed sooner or later. But that's all it is. If there's any questions that we didn't address when we first presented, I'd be happy to answer them. We presented Rick with signed copies of the subdivision plan on behalf of the owner of the property, Drawing this evening.
Anyone in the Board of Supervisors have a question about Well, I think we can entertain a motion now for approval. We'd like to have a motion to approve. I'll make a motion. Mr. Beacom?
I'll second it.
So, and before we vote on it, any public comment? Dr. White? Yes, you're going to have to go up there. Thanks.
But you don't have to be sworn in this
Right,
time.
I swear.
Ray, I know when I was here last night, but can you please clarify the areas in yellow? The lots are still going to be there, but they are going to be now considered part of the lower area in yellow?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and the reason for that?
The reason for that is we're trying to align the Duranian agreement with the developer and the developer with the homeowner. Remember, there's 3 entities here, and the first closing with the Duranian developer creates the white lot in the middle. The home builder's agreement of sale, they're trying to fine tune based on the market how many lots they need for the next 2 years. So that's the nature of this revision, is we pulled some of the lots in and some of the lots out of what the developer is going to buy in the first closing. That's what happened. So the yellow goes into the blue, the red goes into the white.
Okay, so the blue isn't coming until later? Or
The blue is not coming to later. Remember, it's going to take about 6 years to build the subdivision now. The amount of homes that will be in what's the white area is about 300 homes, 310 homes. So that's about 2 or 3 years worth of building houses. And then the developer 3 years from now will buy what's in blue from the development when everything starts to catch up. So it's sort of a staged purchase of the property. Okay.
Any other questions or comments from the audience? Yes, Mike. Mrs. Swart.
Hi, good evening. Just one quick question. I'm curious as to why it's not being consolidated into 4 lots to carve out the manor house, since we already know that that's... Thank you.
We're asking ourselves that a lot over the last 24 or 48 hours, and I won't go into the details for it. Suffice it to say, on the land development plan that ultimately will be recorded, before the lots are conveyed, the manor house is set up as its own separate lot. So the subdivision land development plan that the board approved last year does facilitate that, but that will be created when the rest of the individual building lots are placed of record. Could we have done it sooner, earlier? I don't, that we were asking ourselves that question 12 hours ago. That's why I was laughing when they asked it.
Right, but it's part of the parcel to be retained by Duranian anyway, and that's basically the reason why we didn't think to do it.
Right.
Any additional questions or comments from the audience? Okay, we have a motion on the table. All those in favor? Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So folks, we're going to do a little something different with the agenda in discussion with the parties involved. We're going to move number 20 on the agenda up to now, right before number 7. So that will be the discussion and possible motion of the Board of Supervisors to authorize and advertise with the intent to adopt a zoning text amendment and zoning map change for the I-2 zoning district.
I believe, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Shearing is here this evening.
Yes, sir.
Mike Shearing is here from John Jaros's firm, pitching for Mr. Jaros this evening, as it were, regarding a presentation that his client, Westrom Homes, had made at prior board meetings. At the direction of the board, our office drafted a zoning ordinance amendment that provides a new use entitled lifestyle apartment and defines that use and makes that use a use permitted by conditional use in the I-2R zoning district, and also rezones 9 tax parcels from I-2 to I-2R zoning district. And that is the ordinance that is before you this evening to authorize to be advertised and also sent to the planning commissions for their 30-day review period. So Mr. Sheering's here if anybody has any questions for him, but the ordinance is its own animal. It has nothing itself to do with approving any development or reviewing of any plans. It is just providing the framework by which a new use would be permitted in the township.
Okay, and once again, Mr. Sanders, you can say what that use is for the audience so they understand.
It's called lifestyle apartments, and it's defined in the ordinance. I don't have it in front of me, but this is an apartment use, and maybe Mr. Shearing can help me out here, that has more efficiencies in one-bedrooms than two-bedroom apartments. It's designed for the young urban professional and marketed in that regard, and also provides amenities that you don't see in other apartment buildings, courtyards, areas to gather, pools, swimming pool, under building parking. So, Mr. Shearing, if I left anything out, you can fill it in.
No, I think you did a pretty good job. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Mike Shearing, I'm in for my partner, John Jaros, tonight. And with me from Westrum is Mr. John Tallman. And he can talk more to the details. However, as your solicitor said, what we're requesting tonight, after working with the township and their staff, is the simple authorization for advertisement of this draft ordinance. There will be, as Mr. Sanders said, there will be a conditional use process, and there will obviously, even before we get there will be an actual hearing on this ordinance. So there's two further steps. There's no approval of anything this evening. Perhaps for the residents of West Goshen, I will read the definition that's in the draft ordinance of what a lifestyle apartment is. It is an apartment building offering amenities such as, but not limited to, an outdoor pool, a BYOB bar and recreation area, a gym, a yoga studio, a business center, a dog washing station, and dog run area. The lifestyle apartment shall offer more studio and one-bedroom units than two-bedroom units, and shall include under-building parking. Lifestyle apartments shall not provide balconies. Lifestyle apartments shall be located within 1/4 mile of a major arterial road in the township. So that is the definition in the draft ordinance that will obviously come before the public and the supervisors at the actual ordinance tonight.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Any questions from the board members? Okay. I'm going to turn it over to the audience for any questions or comments. Dr. White, you get some exercise today.
You don't have to be sworn.
No, that's fine.
Doug White, West Goshen Township. I'm assuming this is for the Agway project?
Those, I believe, are the tax parcels that are proposed to be rezoned from I2 to I2R.
Okay, so this I2 to I2R, is this something that has to be done to do the project?
There's no residential allowance at all in I-2 currently.
Correct, but because it is being considered doesn't mean that this project or any other project is being approved or
Right.
is even being considered yet. But it is a step to provide for a proposed use in the I2R.
Okay, so let's say we weren't going to do this and just keep it I2. The apartments could still be built, right? They can.
Not lifestyle apartments, I don't believe, and I don't believe there is a residential element to the I2 district at all. So no residential use could be built in the I2.
Oh, okay, I thought, when we were talking about this last year, I thought that this was a use that could go in there. So the I2R is something that is done, this is not a new thing that Western is asking for, or is it just, this has been done before?
This has been done before. Go ahead, Bill. I'm sorry.
Jefferson Point was done under this. Harrison Hill
Okay,
was done under this. Those are just two of the
Okay,
projects.
okay, so I-2R has happened before, and this would be necessary if John Western wants to do the apartments. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the audience? Mrs. Ford?
Good evening, thank you. I'm just curious, I know our comprehensive plan is being updated, and has the committee for that gotten this far in the planning process for the new plan? In other words, has this area been discussed while drawing up the new plan?
We haven't.
3 meetings in, 3 to 4 meetings in. So we haven't done that.
There's been no specific discussion of this particular zoning issue we're presenting for that. That's a general discussion.
When is the new comprehensive plan scheduled to be finalized?
October.
Our contract with the county runs through, I think it's early next year. Our schedule with the county, we should be substantially complete by November of this year.
I just would like to kind of see this held off until the new comprehensive plan comes out, because right now, I mean, this is a residential area smack dab in the middle of industrial, surrounded by industrial, except for the, crossing 4 lanes of Highway 202 to where you got to the point development. And I don't personally know, but I have heard that maybe that point development wasn't such a good spot for such a large apartment complex after all. So just my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Ford. Any other comments from the audience? Okay, we have perhaps a motion. I don't know if we did that. Did we do that?
Yeah, not yet.
I move to authorize.
Mr. Purnell makes a second.
I second it.
Second. Thank you very much, Mrs. Luda. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're going back to the agenda as written. So now we go to agenda item number 7, reports of the month for March 2018. We have here today Lieutenant Justin Dominio for the police report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the month of March 2018, the police department responded to 2,124 calls for service. 61 of them were alarms, 5 of which were valid. Reportable crashes were 27, and we patrolled 22,856 miles around the township. Selective enforcement for the traffic safety division as well as the patrol division amongst many places in the township. A few places specifically that were enforced are Airport Road, Boot Road, Rosary Lane, South Five Points Road, Sylvan Road, Turner Lane, Spruce Avenue, Green Knoll Avenue, and Ashbridge Road. As we do every month, career development is very important in the police department, so we send many officers to training every month. In addition to the regular training such as the ERT, the emergency response team training, and the honor guard training and so forth, just a few extras to point out. Officer Myers, which is our juvenile/community relations division, he attended the ALICE Institute training, which is instructor training. ALICE is an acronym for alert, lockdown, inform, counter, evaluate. It's active shooter training. Sergeant Bryce of the traffic safety division attended the summit on crash data retrieval, black box training for the vehicles. Officer Holman, he attended the hostage negotiation and crisis intervention training. Officer Edwards took a 2-day class on intercounty detective training. It's a first line criminal investigation training. Officer Graham and Officer Grandizio attended police supervisor and service training, which is also a first line supervisor training for up and coming police officers for future supervisors. There's 2 brochures in the back that I left. Please take one on your way out. A couple community events that we'll be hosting. Wednesday, May the 23rd, we will be hosting the naloxone community training. Naloxone, or naloxone training, which we will be hosting here at the township. It's free of charge. It's community training open to anybody. The first 25 attendees, we will be providing free doses of naloxone to take with you. We just continue to support these programs just with the epidemic that we here in West Goshen as well as across the country are facing with opioid abuse. So that's 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Again, it's here at the township building, and there's a brochure in the back. The second training we'll be holding is a free workshop. It's actually next Wednesday, April 25th, from 5 to 7, also here at the township. It's hosted by the Crime Victim Center of Chester County. Deb Ryan, who used to work for the district attorney's office, is now the director over there. They'll be hosting Stewards of Children. Essentially, it's a prevention training that teaches adults how to prevent, recognize, and react responsibly to child sexual abuse. So that'll be next Wednesday again. The brochure's on the back. 5 to 7. And two more quick notes. The police department hosted 2 community events in the last few weeks, in the last month. The first one was the 4th annual Run to Remember Richie. Sergeant Richard Geiger passed away a few years ago. 26 years of service here in the township. He passed away from glioblastoma, it was form of brain cancer. So we held the 4th annual Run to Remember Richie, with a 5K run, 1 mile walk. Huge success again this year. We had over 200 participants this year. We teamed up with the Darren Dalton Foundation. Remember, Darren Dalton was the all-star catcher for Philadelphia Phillies. Same disease. He succumbed to the same disease. We teamed up with Philadelphia Phillies this year. It was a great turnout. A couple of the retired Phillies came out, and it was a good time. Also, just this past Sunday, we hosted the annual Skaterama, where we host elementary, middle school age students all around the Westchester Area School District. Come out, skate for free, skate with police officers, interact with police officers, come out and get a free hot dog and a Coke. And we had 363 participants this year, which is right around the average what we host. That was just this past Sunday, April 15th. And that was my report. Yes,
I
ma'am.
just have a question, because I had this question last month. When you read out the number of streets that you patrol, the same names keep coming up. So could you just give me some background as to why that is?
Yeah, no problem. And just to clarify, these aren't specific just patrol streets. These are traffic enforcement streets, selective enforcement. Essentially, this is where we're continuing to get the complaints. Not necessarily complaints, or where accident data or crash data supports that. So I could certainly, and I believe you probably already have a copy of Sergeant Greiser's monthly traffic safety report. If someone looks familiar to this, there's over 40 locations here, but yes, a lot of the same names do come up, because that's where we're continuing to get the complaints, or like, again, crash data supports it. A lot of these streets, even some of the ones I may not have mentioned, a lot of them are around the schools. So this time of year, before school and after school, where the officers are concentrating for obvious reasons, so student drivers. 202 is always a big one. I don't even mention 202 because that's an everyday occurrence that we're up there. So just to, I hope that answered your question. And one of these I mentioned, Rosaries down by the university, from September all the way to May, to next month, is where officers are there on a regular basis. Citation reports will prove that or show that. And again, the number of complaints that we get, it's a high volume area, as you know, down by Rosary, Plaza, and the whole development. So officers are spending quite a bit of time down, just 9 months of the year, if you will.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure. Thank you.
Any other questions from board members? Any questions from the audience? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next report is Fire Marshal's report, including Goshen Fire Company and Good Fellowship Ambulance Company, presented by Fire Marshal Andrea Tessman. Good evening.
Good evening. For the month of March, there were a total of 20 inspections, 6 commercial use and occupancy, 4 fire blocking, 5 sprinkler, 2 framing, 1 fire alarm, and 2 fire extinguisher placements. There were 5 fire calls, 1 fire alarm, 1 brush fire, 1 gas leak, 1 carbon monoxide incident, and 1 car fire. I attended 2 meetings, gave 1 fire safety presentation, locked up 1 Knox box, and attended 16 hours of training. Good Fellowship Ambulance had 122 calls for the month, and the Westchester Fire Department had 18 calls. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Any questions from the audience? Any questions from Next on the agenda is building officials report presented by building official John Beswick. Good evening, John.
Good evening. For the month of March, there was a total of 153 permits. Sorry. 5 single-family dwellings, 17 building, 25 electrical, 7 fire protection, 22 HVAC, 13 plumbing, 5 roofing, 3 zoning, 17 use and occupancies, 4 ENS, 17 sewer tapping connections, 17 open space, and 1 road occupancy. The estimated cost of construction was $2,600,520, and the permit fees were $123,035.58. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Any questions from the board? Any questions from the audience? No. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. President. Next item on the agenda, Board of Supervisors announcements. We'll start with Ms. Lusota. Any announcements?
I don't have any announcements. Neither do I.
Okay. Mr. Brunel?
I do.
All right.
May 19th, I'd like to invite the general population, and especially our residents of West Goshen that have antique or classic or modified cars, to come to our car show that will be in the back of the community park over by Iceland. 9 to noon is registration. There is no registration fee for West Goshen residents unless they want to enter the major competition, which is limited to Buicks, Pontiacs, Oldsmobiles, and Cadillacs. The other vehicles will be eligible for a President's Trophy. So I'd like to see as many of our members, residents over. I'm done.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brunel. Next item on the agenda, Township Manager's announcements. Mr. LaRock.
Good evening, everyone. I have 7 announcements tonight. First announcement is, if the board is available, we have to move our May 15th meeting due to the primary election. The building is used as an election polling place, so we can't use the room. We're looking at Monday, May 21st, if the board is okay with that date. And Mr. Sander, staff, please check your schedules tomorrow, but I'd like to move it to the 21st if everyone's available. We'll make ourselves available.
So we would need a motion for that?
Yeah, I would suggest a
So I can
motion.
advertise.
Yeah, exactly, authorizing the advertisement of that.
Who would like to make a motion to move that? Mr. Needham, second. Ms. Lusota, thank you.
Mr.
Mr.
Now
Brunel.
seconded.
Okay, very well. Mr. Brunel, second. Folks, I don't know if it's worth commenting on this, but we're just trying to accommodate. We won't be here on the 15th. Okay. All those in favor?
Very good. Okay, I'll prepare the advertisement, get it over to Mr. Sander for review, and we'll get that advertised. Secondly, I need to apologize on behalf of the township. Our yard waste collection was a slight disaster this weekend. Trucks broke down with our contractor. Yeah, it's okay, Lisa. Apparently, a bunch of their trucks broke down. They couldn't collect the northern half of the township, among other locations. Lisa, anything update?
I do have to say, I received a report.
Yes, from Republic?
No, from the landfill.
Oh,
They collected double the tonnage on Saturday than they did last year.
wow.
They collected over 80 tons this year, and they only did 40 tons last year, and we still had 2 more days that were collected, so
Right,
it
so it
was
could be
a
100
lot
tons
of,
maybe.
well, over 100,
Nice,
120. So.
So there was a
it's
volume plus a mechanical breakdown,
major
didn't
volume.
help.
Yeah, so, in their defense,
Yeah, okay.
yeah, it was a lot.
All right, at least we got that information, because if it was just a breakdown,
No, it was,
huge tonnage this year.
yeah, I mean, it was with 30 bags, 25 bags,
Right.
so it was a lot.
Okay, all right, well, at least we have that update. But I still want to apologize for the mishap this weekend. Yes, sir.
So is there any plan to pick up the remaining material that wasn't picked up?
Yes, we've been doing that since Monday. Has yours not been picked up?
I just saw a lot on Grove Road and a couple of other spots, so just curious as to whether it was going to be picked up or not.
Yeah, as far as I know. Should have been today.
If people didn't know, I didn't.
Yeah, I know. We'll work on that tomorrow morning. Thank you. Okay, third, and again, my apologies. Okay. Third announcement, April 21st, Goose Creek Cleanup as part of Earth Day. Please see our website. We collect behind McDonald's on Bay Street. We collect, John, tons and tons, tires, all kinds of good stuff every year. CRC Watershed leads the effort for us. We supply personnel with trucks to load the material to take up to the landfill. Again, see our website. We're looking for volunteers as usual for the event, again, this Saturday, April 21st. The April 24th comprehensive plan meeting is canceled. The next meeting will be May 22nd. They're doing data. Our intern is hard at work entering the rest of the surveys. Derek, how many surveys? 1,200?
I actually asked them to get in touch with our consultants for Thursday, so we should have a solid number Thursday.
Fantastic.
But I think it's around 1,000.
Nice, good deal.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful, excellent. Two items that came in today that I would like to talk about quickly. At last month's meeting, the board approved the security maintenance agreement for Laurel Ridge for the development, for the roads to be dedicated. We just received the dedication documents and resolutions today. Rick brought them up to me today. I'd rather not wait till May to do these, so we can get these on the books. I have resolution 10, which is for Gallup Lane, and resolution 11, which is for Trot Lane, to dedicate those roads and facilities to the township, if you're so interested in.
Do we need any legal advertising or anything?
No, not for a resolution. Yeah, that's
I'll
fine.
move that we approve those.
I have a motion from Mr. Purnell to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Mr. Meekum has seconded that motion. Any public comments on that? Any questions? Well, Mrs. Ford, I'll take it.
I'm just curious, is Laurel Ridge the one?
Will you pass them on? Thank you.
Thank you. Is Laurel Ridge the development off Pottstown Pike? And just the two roads in there?
Yes.
Okay.
Comes right up, Potsdam Pike, goes down,
And were they scheduled, were they approved as public roads? Only because I was in that development a couple weeks ago and talked to one of the residents, and he said, oh, no, these are private roads. We pay for our snow plowing and.
Until now.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
they
fine.
were private until they're dedicated.
Okay, yeah, he was under the understanding that they were always going to be
No.
private. Okay, great, thanks for the confirmation.
Dr. White?
I think Margie kind of answered. So that was the giving back to the township, the roads was part of the land development plan?
Correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions, folks, comments? Okay, well, we have a motion on the table to approve. All those in favor? Aye.
And lastly, we held an executive session tonight, April 17th, to discuss litigation. That's everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And thank you for following up on that trash. I know there's been a lot.
It hasn't been a good couple days. I'm sorry.
E-waste shred.
Yeah, I thought I had too much. April what, 28th? April 28th, 9 to noon. Double event here, over in Public Works front parking lot. We're doing an e-waste collection event, and at the same time, shred event. So documents you want, bring them in. Cost for TVs, $20.
Only for glass.
Right. So computer monitors that are the new.
Anything that's flat and not glass is free.
Okay.
It's a monitor and it's glass, or a TV and it's glass.
Okay, so the glass is critical, and especially those behemoth projection TVs, $20.
Can you say that date one more time?
April 28th, Saturday, 9 to noon, please.
Okay. And I just have a question for you. Electronics, does that include microwaves? What does that, maybe you could tell the audience what that includes. Come on.
Why don't you come on up? Okay, good. Anything with a plug.
It is everything. It doesn't have to be anything that's hazardous.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing with Freon.
Nothing with
The
Freon.
other company used to take small apartment refrigerators, the tiny or college refrigerators. They don't, or air conditioners. They won't take anything with Freon. But everything else, I mean, I have Christmas lights that somebody brought in, so Yeah, it's anything with the front.
Microwaves, toasters.
Anything with a
Yeah.
plug, except anything containing free on.
Yeah, because it gets recycled, I mean, all that can go in the trash, but this way it gets recycled.
Right, that's one of them.
And Chester County is no longer doing e-waste, so it's up to the townships now, municipalities to.
And we are merging with the borough for this one.
Right.
So we'll have 2 shred trucks.
My question is on the Freon thing, it used to be that if you had the certification sticker on it, that it was properly evacuated, they'd take it. Do you know anything about that?
Well, the trash company will
Trash
take
company
it.
will take it at the curb, but we don't accept anything like that during this collection.
I mean, they would probably take it if it was stickered, but there's,
Yeah, it's a little,
you know,
too.
it's just as easy to put it out.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much.
Good. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you very much.
Does that conclude the Board of Supervisors announcements? Thank you very much, sir. Next, we'll move to the Township Engineer's stormwater announcements. Mr. Craig.
The only thing I have for this evening is that there is no further progress from DEP on our pending and school project.
Big surprise there.
If I can interject, I'm sorry. Also, at our COG meeting last Thursday, Rick, I forgot to tell you, Westchester Borough received comments on their plans. No one else in the room had, so.
But it'll be done in another 2 months.
Oh, it'll be another 2 months.
Okay, moving right along, folks. Now we have the zoning officer's announcements. Mr. Bill Webb.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and all I have is that we are official members of the newly created Pennsylvania Zoning Officers Association that was created this year by PSATs. We are official members now.
Very well. Thank you very much. Number 12 on the agenda, folks, is approval of the Board of Supervisors meeting minutes of March 28th, 2018. I'm going to do a little reverse. I'm going to ask once again if the public has any comment or questions about the meeting minutes from our last meeting. No. Okay. Does the board have any? I think you did have something.
Yes, I have a typo request change for paragraph 6 on the first page. I believe it should be West Whiteland rather than West Goshen.
Oh, yes.
Yep. And then on page 2, 4th paragraph from the top, where it says after the discussion on a motion by Mr. Purnell, I believe it should be on a motion by Mr. Purnell to adopt a resolution with amendments.
Great.
I reviewed the
Correct.
video.
Correct.
So if we may make that change. And then on page 3, 3rd paragraph from the bottom, I believe there is a typo. And recently, LY is missing from,
Yes.
was nominated. And I believe that was all that I had.
Very good.
Thank you. Any other revisions from the board?
I make a motion we approve with Mary's corrections.
Okay, we have a motion to approve with the amended corrections. Second by Mr. Meekum. All those in favor?
Aye.
Did you get all that?
I did.
Okay. Next item on the agenda, number 13, approval of the treasurer's report dated March 31st, 2018 for the general fund, the sewer revenue fund, the waste and recycling fund, and the capital reserve fund, and the bills to be paid from these funds. We have a motion to approve these.
Move to approve.
Okay.
Second.
You have a motion from Mr. Stenberg, second from Mr. Purnell. Any comment from the audience? Any questions? Very well. All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 14 on the agenda is a discussion and possible execution of inspection escrow agreement for the woodlands at Greystone. And who do we turn to for a little direction on that?
The Woodlands development is proceeding not, and this probably isn't good as any shock, not by the traditional way of getting their plans approved, recording them, and posting financial security to secure their improvements. They're starting their earth moving and their work on their property under the MPC, and this is authorized by the MPC, sort of at their own risk without posting financial security. And if there's anything wrong with what they do, it's inspected and it's got to be redone. But that's the way they choose to go about this. In order to cover the township's costs of legal engineering and inspection fees, they are posting a cash escrow of $100,000. When it's reduced to $50,000, they have to replenish it to $100,000, and that'll stay in effect until they decide to record their plans and post additional financial security for the completion of the remaining public improvements in the development, at which time this escrow will be released to them and will be substituted by acceptable financial security. So this agreement merely approves that plan, and if the board's of a mind, it would require a motion to approve authorization to execute the agreement with the developer.
Yeah, I take it, Mr. Sander, that you looked over this and you feel comfortable with us making this.
Yes, it has been reviewed and approved.
Thank you very much, sir.
We do have the check in hand in the safe ready for the deposit.
Thank you, Mr. Lamar. Do I have a motion to approve this inspection escrow? Make a motion. Thank you, Mr. Neal.
I'll second that.
We have a second from Ms. Lasoda. Thank you very much. Any public comment on this? Any questions about this? Okay, so we have a motion on the table. All those in favor? Aye. Next item on the agenda is discussion and possible approval of Grubbs Mill Culvert Replacement Project bid opened at 2:30 p.m. Tuesday, April 10th, 2018.
Yes, we've had this project in the budget for at least 2 years, okay, 4 years, Dave, thank you, to replace the Grubbs Mill culvert, Sunset Hollow Road, make a right on Grubbs Mill, heading towards West Whiteland, right adjacent to the West Whiteland pump station. Carroll Engineering did the design, and I have to give kudos to the staff in Carroll Engineering. Their tight design, we had a budget of $450,000, and it came in at low bid at $189,000. So I think it's not hollow thanks. That was an excellent tight design. Duraco Brothers Incorporated was the low at $119.80 as the low bid. At this time, the staff, Mr. Vinatelli is in attendance as well. We recommend approval of this project. And
Very well. Thank you, Mr. Rowan. Do we have a motion to approve the Grubbs Mill Culvert bid award?
I do.
Thank you, Dr. Burnell.
I would second.
Thank you, Dr. Beck. We have a second. Any comments? Any questions? Dr. White?
I was just curious what the delay was.
Permitting with DEP. It was
But this was
nightmares to be clear.
So this started in 14, probably.
Yes, absolutely. And Mr. Vinatelli.
There was a question.
Join us. All right.
The current culvert is a CMP pipe, squash pipe, and it's undersized, so essentially every rainfall was flooding before it was crossing the stream or overtopping the road. So we were doing some cost-benefit analysis on how large to size it, what storm to design it for, and that type of thing. So we were going back and forth on that type of thing. So that was the reason for the delay.
Thank you very much. Any other questions from the audience? Okay, we have a motion and a second motion. The motion is on the table for the approval of Grubbs Mill Culvert bid award. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Number 16 on the agenda is discussion and possible approval of the 2018 paving program bid that was opened up at 2 p.m. Tuesday, April 10th, 2018. Once again to you, Mr. Rowan.
Very good. We opened up bids for our annual paving. We do about 5 miles of roads a year, but that's a little mischaracterized because it's about the square square yards of material as opposed to miles because of the varying widths of our roads. For example, Applegate, one of our newer developments, they have, what, 36-foot wide roads? So when those have to be redone, it's going to be very costly because we have much more material. So we're down about 16,000 from last year. Mark, was it 16?
We're actually very close to last year, but
Okay.
3 years ago, we were at 98,000 square yards.
Of
This year, we're
material.
at 81,000 square yards.
Gotcha.
So there's a difference.
Excellent. We had a budget of $1 million, a majority of which comes out of our liquid fuels funding. Staff, Mr. Vancilli, are recommending the award to Glasgow Incorporated. We've used that before, for the bid of $674,999.13. So it's a very good price, and we recommend approval.
Wonderful. Do we have any questions from the audience on this? Mrs. Swan?
Do you have a list of roads that are scheduled to be,
Yep. You guys
that's
have
on the
that?
website somewhere?
No, we don't publish that because it's variable.
Like, come on.
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah.
Chair recognizes Mr. Burlow.
We have 15 roads this year at 5.06 miles. We have Balmer Street, Snyder Avenue, Union Street, East Neal Street, Beaches Mill Road, Richfield Lane, Rose Lane, Somerset Place, Midvale Road, Wildwood Avenue, Sylvan Road, Carlton Lane, Basin Road, Mallard Road, and Ward Avenue. And it's technically 10 miles.
That is true.
Just let you know.
That is true.
A lot of work.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Burlow.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Okay, so now we're going to ask for, I think, do we ask for motions here?
I did.
No, okay, a motion to approve this bid. Mr. Burnell,
Second.
second. Mrs. Dunn, all those in favor?
Aye.
So the bid goes to Glasgow Incorporated for $674,999.13. Significant.
And 100% of those costs we've got out of liquid fuels. Inspection fees will come out of general fund, but it's a very good, we'll actually have a surplus in our liquid fuels account for next year. Yeah, okay, cool, that's how
Okay, number 17 on the agenda. Another bid, discussion and possible award of the 2018 pavement markings bid, open at 2 p.m. Tuesday, April 10th, 2018. Once again, I'll turn it to Mr. LeBlanc.
Very good. And this is a bid that we share with our neighbors, Westtown Township and East Goshen. We go in together, we get a very good price. I want to point out that Alpha Space Control is the low and sole bidder. Our staff put out the bid to 5 or 6 companies, four companies, to try and solicit some more bids. Alpha Space Control is dominant in this area. No one can meet their price. They do a very good job, and they're dominating. So we usually only get one bid. We try, but we just don't get any other bids. So it's, again, our recommendation, and we split the cost between, again, East Goshen and Westtown Township. The total bid is $78,781.95 for all 3 municipalities together. And that's to do all of our line paintings, stop bars, thermoplastic, which is the plastic that they put down and burn and melt it. So we seek approval tonight.
Just for clarification,
Yes.
when you said we split it with East Goshen and Westtown, is that the split of the $78,781.95?
So that's the total bid, then we split it between the 3 of us.
Okay, just for clarification.
We have that. Split, yeah.
That's just an average, like, we have a bunch of line items with like the double yellows, the fog lines, and you're not really quite sure what you're gonna get in the end. Because some lines don't need to be painted, some look good already. So it does vary a little bit. But on average, it'll be split. Now, we're a lot bigger than those other townships, so we're gonna probably pay more than what they're gonna pay.
What's the basis for calculating the allocation?
Maybe you should come on.
Or, so we have more quantity. So to get a better price.
No, I mean, if you were to take the amount of that 78,000 that we pay versus what West Town and East Goshen pay.
How
I'm
do
just
they
curious
determine
about how
that?
you determine that, yeah.
We're billed separately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Of
They
the overall
they come in our
70,
township.
50,000.
So they calculate the amount that
Yeah.
we use in West Goshen
They'll
versus
do
what
our
they use.
township, they don't go to the neighbors. They don't put it together.
Okay, great, thank you.
Great. Mr. Woodward, you want to say something?
No.
No? Okay.
How many, I have a question, how many years does paint last? The thermal last?
The thermal is supposed to last 7 years. It doesn't. It all depends on traffic.
And it gets scraped up by plows.
Yeah.
Gets hit by
Yeah.
plows.
And does this have a reflective glass beads in it? or
Yes.
reflection? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. Any questions from the audience? Okay, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the bid for David Barkey. Do I have a motion? Mr. Beacom has a motion. Do we have a second?
Yeah.
Mr. Purnell has a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We're out of the bid section and we're into something different here. Very exciting. Discussion and possible approval of a proclamation recognizing April 27th, 2018 as Arbor Day for West Goshen Township. Mary, would you like to speak to that? Because I know you've been taking the lead on that.
Well, it's been a group effort for everyone. We've had volunteers secure a tree that's going to be donated to plant. Agway has donated a beautiful tree that's about, 5 to 6 feet tall. And the employees are going to be helping us move it from Agway and planting it. And we're going to be having on April 27th on a Friday at 6 o'clock, the celebration or the recognition where the tree's going to be planted. I believe there'll be some literary readings and the proclamation would be read at the same time. And this is one of the checklists or items on the checklist in order to qualify us for Tree City USA. So again, it's been a group effort. As part of the Arbor Day celebration, we have to have a proclamation. And so I didn't want to just take anything. Most people just copy everything from the Arbor Day website. Kind of massage that a little bit. And then I added some whereas clauses and then now put it in a full clause and produced this. So I'm hoping you'll review it. Please don't ask me to read it. To read it. Yes, please read it.
May I offer one typo?
Yes.
In the first whereas, I think you mean world instead of word.
You are probably correct, and I see another typo. Oh, you did? Okay, and then I see, thank you, yes, we'll make that correction. And it's actually, instead of proclaiming a certain day, I've said to hereby proclaim the fourth Friday of the month. That way it always falls on a Friday, rather than the 27th, which could end up during the week, which would be very difficult for some people to do. So,
And Mary, is this going to be an annual event? for us to
yes,
participate in?
yes, in order to, yes, first, it'll be an annual event. And second off, it has to be an annual event for Tree City USA in order to maintain our Tree City USA status. So, and it's my understanding that West Goshen has participated in Arbor Day, or has recognized Arbor Day for many, many years. We just haven't really formalized it.
Correct.
So it's just one step.
I understand that the tree that was chosen as a indigenous tree, recall
It's a Cherokee, it's in last month's minutes.
Yes.
It's a Cherokee dogwood, I believe, yes.
And any audience members that were working on this? I know there's been some-
Yes, Eunice Alexander,
She's back here, I saw her. Thank you, Eunice.
Ashley Gagne, and Susan Sharkey. yes. They were instrumental in securing the tree for us.
Well, thank you.
They did all the legwork, yes.
Great, well, that's wonderful. Any questions from the audience? Mrs. Swart, you're getting your exercise.
Hi, thank you. In the future, would you kindly post proclamations and board material online? I'm not going to ask Ms. Lasota to read the proclamation, but as one who likes to participate in the democratic process, it's hard for me to ask questions or make comments on something you're voting on when we don't have availability to it. So thank you for your consideration in that going forward.
Thank you. We will make sure to have this posted immediately. Absolutely.
In the future, could we do it before the meetings though?
Well, let's talk about that in public comment, because I know you had that question, and I think that
Great, thank
would be a suitable item for discussion at that point. Any other questions or comments? Great, so I'll entertain a motion to approve this proclamation.
I think Mary should make that. I'll second it.
I make a motion to approve the proclamation.
We have a motion, we have a second motion, all those in favor? Aye. Next item on the agenda, discussion and possible motion of the Board of Supervisors. Well, I think we already did this. We did that. We did that. So let's. Okay, discussion and possible motion of the Board of Supervisors to authorize an advertisement with the intent to adopt an ordinance amending the township code for vibration. Okay. So we can make the sender perhaps?
If the board is of a mind, I know the board has authorized the drafting of an ordinance regulating vibration, providing standards for causing vibration, obviously maximum standards, and is considering the use of experts and folks who know a lot more about vibration than anybody sitting up here. This would be the formal step in having the board authorize the advertisement of such an ordinance for its, I believe, May meeting, May 21st now.
We'll work to get it done for May 21st.
Yeah, the goal is to get it advertised for May 21st. If not, it will be on the June weekend. But
any questions from the audience regarding this? Any comments? Any questions from the board?
No.
I'll entertain motions.
Okay. I'll make the motion.
Mr. Cornell has a motion. Mr. Meekum seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Folks, forgive me, we have an amended agenda, and it looks like I might have been reading off of the older one. We do have, that's correct, we do have discussion and possible approval of a proclamation recognizing April 2018 as Pennsylvania's 811 Safe Digging Month. I see the proclamation here in front of me. Am I to read it, Mr. LeBron?
You don't have to. It's just a proclamation that we were requested to do by the Pennsylvania One Call system, just to encourage our residents to call 811 before they dig, simply.
Absolutely. Any questions on that?
Will this proclamation be posted on the website?
I can, absolutely. Sure. All right, well, I guess that would be a sort of an amended motion with put on the website. Okay. We have a motion, do we have a second? Second. Mr. Brunel, all those in favor? Aye. Good. Folks, I believe that does it, except for public comment. Anyone have any public comment? Mr. Alexander.
I want to make a 2-minute comment. It's completely different. Henry Alexander, and I'm a resident of West Goshen Township. It's completely different from much of the rest of what we've been discussing tonight. I wish to express my support for a resolution to transition to increased energy conservation and renewable energy sources in West Goshen Township, both for a better and healthier environment and to prevent catastrophic climate change. Fossil fuels have been very convenient, but they have and continue to have significant impact on public health and the environment. It is easy to overlook this in West Goshen Township because of the impact is not as bad here as in other places. Surface mine drainage and black lung are affecting people and streams throughout Appalachia. Fracking has only belatedly gained attention in our township because of the pipelines being constructed through it. Asthma, other respiratory diseases, and heart disease due to air pollution are much greater in Philadelphia than here. And yet, when we took our daughter to visit the State University of New York in Geneseo in western New York State, our daughter, who is a runner, was astounded at how much cleaner the air was. It was the same realization that many of us experienced when smoking in buildings ended and the smell of tobacco gradually faded from the furniture. We have relied on fossil fuel economy because it is convenient and because there were no apparent alternatives. Renewable energy has become a cost-effective alternative, and we need to move expeditiously in that direction. If we keep relying on fossil fuels, we will have so altered the climate by 2050 that it will be quite literally not able to support modern civilization. This is not an exaggeration. If a frog feels a rapid increase in temperature, he takes action. If the temperature increases gradually, he is caught unaware and doesn't move. The slow rolling increase of heat-trapping greenhouse gases is gradual. We don't want to be that frog. Why should the Board of Supervisors of West Goshen Township support a resolution to move to conservation and renewable energy? First, it is essential that we, the people, move at the state and local levels because the federal government is not leading at this time. Second, it is an expression of intent. West Goshen Township is not going to do it single-handedly. Municipalities, counties, and states across the county are also moving. At some point, the federal government is going to understand the need for change. Third, while establishing a direction, it can also save West Goshen Township money. The City of Philadelphia has passed such a resolution with the proviso that the city saves money as it transitions. So far, their energy office has saved the city $2 million each year for the past 3 years running, while rapidly transforming and transitioning to energy efficiency and renewable energy. For these reasons, I urge you to consider such a resolution. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alexander. Any other public comment? Dr. White.
Good evening, Doug White, West Goshen Township. I would like the board to consider bringing back the second monthly workshop meeting at 7 o'clock. In October 2010, Dr. White made a motion to move the meetings to 7 o'clock and also to have a second meeting each month. So I'd like to see us do that. Thank you.
Just to be clear, Dr. White, are you talking about the Board of Supervisors meeting?
Yeah, second meeting each month, yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you. Any other public comment?
Thank you. I sent an email to the board earlier today requesting that all the board materials that you receive days in advance of this meeting, that same material is shared on the website. I know this is common practice in our neighboring municipalities. They put 50, 60, sometimes 80 documents that are pertinent to the business of the township online. And I've requested it a couple times in the past, and I'd like to ask the board's consideration in putting that information online. That's my first comment. And then the second one, as one who likes to follow rules, I'm glad that you have rules regarding public comment. I know that some amendments were made after last month's meeting. Could you just say what those amendments
They
were?
were actually made during the meeting. I don't think there was nothing afterwards. Does the board want me to go through those?
Sure, yeah, my recollection, Mark, is that we made some last minute amendments, but it was boring.
Yeah, it was during the meeting. There wasn't anything else.
Okay.
We did make some changes.
I know I had printed out a draft of last month's ordinance or resolution, and it had said that the agenda for the meeting would be posted online within 48 hours. However, the resolution that I printed off the website today says that the township manager will post the agenda at least 24 hours in advance.
That was discussed at the meeting.
I can't recall particularly
We can check the tape.
specifically, but I think
I took that note specifically on the resolutions.
All right, I have tried, and I have done numerous times in the past of emailing questions beforehand, so as not to catch anyone off guard. If the agenda is not posted until 24 hours, and then you're asking residents, strongly encouraging them to submit questions 24 hours in advance of the meeting, I hope you would consider that 48-hour perhaps would be a better time frame for the agenda to be posted.
I typically post it the Thursday before the meeting, or Friday at the very latest. I do it before the weekend so everybody can see it. I've never posted it the day of, except unless we had an agenda change. That's the only time I update the agenda, just out of practice.
Okay, but let me know when you're done so we can have a
No.
discussion about it.
And then one last thing, thank you, Dr. White, for the suggestion. Also, I do know that up until this board went from 3 members to 5 members for the history, as far back as documented meetings go, I believe 2000 or 2001 online. This township always held 2 meetings per month, but somehow when the board expanded from 3 to 5 members, the meetings cut back to once a month. I believe one argument was, well, it would be more expensive because we're paying an attorney or a solicitor to be here, but it's not required for a solicitor to be at a workshop meeting. So I think, this is a really exciting time, or should be, for this new board. And when this next meeting now is 5 weeks away, how does the second largest township municipality in Chester County get any business done when you meet once a month? So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Mrs. Schwartz. So getting to your suggestions, do we need to pass another resolution to make that 48-hour push? I know your practice case is always into to do that.
Yeah, I post as soon as I get to the board, so.
But, I mean,
Well, if the resolution now says it's got to be posted 24 hours in advance, at least 24 hours in advance, but that could be at worst 24 hours, and residents should or strongly urge to submit questions or comments 24 hours, that doesn't quite make sense. If the board wants to change it to 48, require the posting a minimum of 48 hours, we would have to do a resolution to amend the prior resolution.
okay, which I figured you were going to say that.
But even the 48 hours, that's Sunday.
Yes.
I'm not, unless there's an emergency or
Right.
something I change, it's going to be posted the Friday before.
Right. I know that's your usual practice, but I guess we could put that on the agenda. It makes a lot of sense what you're saying, Mrs. Schwartz. It just doesn't give a lot of people turnaround time. and their busy
Do
schedule.
the penciling out Tuesday meeting, because the Friday before Tuesday meeting.
Assuming not always meeting
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's why you use an hourly time. I mean, the board of supervisors really could change to Wednesday. Wednesday, yeah, exactly.
But how do we feel about just amending it to 48 hours before? That doesn't sound like much of a problem. We don't need a motion on that right now, but we have that as an agenda item next month to address that.
If you want us to do that, I would suggest a motion to authorize the drafting of that resolution. We don't need to advertise it, but the drafting of it should be authorized.
So I'll ask for motions for authorization to make this amendment that we've been talking about as far as posting the agenda at least 48 hours.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion from Mrs. Stuntebeck. Do we have a second? Can the chairman make a second?
Yes.
Sure. Chairman's made for a second. All those in favor? Aye. What do we have? 3-2? Is that what I'm saying?
Well, I didn't hear any opposed votes. They weren't asked for, I guess.
You didn't ask for
Okay, sure. Would you like to comment before, and I'm sorry?
I just think I'd like to see it stay at 24, and if that doesn't work out, then we can change it. But just like that, I don't think we have to, because like you said, it's a Sunday, and I think most times we'll be ready by Friday.
I think, I mean, that's his usual practice. Is this going to be burdensome on you, Mr. Valon?
I post it as soon as it goes out to you, it's posted.
Yeah, which is usually 48 hours.
Yeah. I have the packets out Wednesday or Thursday the week before, so.
And I think what Ms. Ford is trying to share with us is that even if it's posted on Friday, so and our residents are aware of what the agenda is, it only leaves one work day between the time the day is posted and the day that we then meet on Tuesday. And so the staff would possibly be burdened by needing to be able to get it all done on Monday. So the idea here is that we're giving the resident an opportunity to prepare if they have any questions, but they're also giving township manager the flexibility. It's no later than 48 hours?
It was
Right.
no later than 48 before. So
Yeah,
Correct.
and so he, at his discretion, can also submit it earlier as they get it completed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so it's just to give a little bit of buffer time so that residents can ask questions on that Monday before the Tuesday about the Tuesday agenda or any items they want to bring. If you recall, when we set the time limit requirement, residents who want to speak a public comment period must provide that information to the township manager so that they can prepare to be responsive to those questions or those issues. So I don't think we needed to build in a little bit of extra room for the agenda to be posted so that the residents can get that opportunity to have those answers prepared.
May I say something? But to piggyback onto what Mr. Miko is stating is that even if we save 48 hours for these board meetings that are happening this year, that time period is going to fall on a Sunday anyways. So the difference between 24 hours and 48 hours is irrelevant because the 48 hours falls on a Sunday. So you're saying that the agenda must be posted on a Sunday. Your
No,
next
minimum.
working day is a Monday. So that would mean that the questions would still have to be made on Monday. So,
That's understandable.
but see, so then it's a practice of, doesn't result in anything being productive by changing it from 24 to 48 hours.
Well, it is my feeling on it. Most people are getting their information going online, looking for these postings. And that could happen. And a lot of people don't have time to do it during the work week with their jobs and their families and what they have to do. So I get your point, but it's at least 48 hours. And it seems like the practice of Mr. Valon that it's beating that time frame usually. So
That's why we want to change it.
Yeah.
And if he's going to have it on Friday.
Well, he's not working on Sundays.
No.
So it gives him the opportunity to complete his work week and not have to be worried about summing it up on a Sunday.
Right.
I mean, being a little literal here, we're just saying it can be no less than 48 hours. It could be that he's doing it 4 days before, depending on how quickly the agenda gets prepared. But without some kind of cushion, it makes it almost virtually impossible for the residents to do what they've been asked to do, which is to send questions in advance before the board meeting.
But if it's 48 and he does it on Sunday, I don't know how many people are going to be checking the website to see if they wait till Monday, we would have it. It's 24 hours.
Probably more likely to check the website on a Sunday than on Monday. That's editorial.
I'm going to defer to Casey because he's the one that has to do the work to make it happen.
It just looks inconsistent though on its face.
Saying 24 and requiring comments by 24 hours. Yeah, that's the inconsistency. So you're trying to cure that by requiring it to be put on there at least 24 hours prior to the 24-hour deadline for submitting comments. But in reality, it'll be on there by Friday.
Just for that alone, I feel like it's necessary to switch it to the 48.
I'd say the easiest way to think about it is when you're changing it to 48, that just essentially means you're changing it to Friday. And that's the easiest way to think about it. But keeping it 48 hours is still good because that gives you flexibility if we change the meeting date. But on regular meetings, it means it's Friday. 48 hours means it's Friday. Essentially what
We
it
should
means.
actually, if I may, we should change it to 2 business days. Instead of 24 or 48 hours. It should be 2 business days.
Then what if Monday's a holiday?
Well, that's not a business day. The legal definition of a business day excludes holidays and weekends.
That's right, but then I might go back to Thursday.
So,
Yeah, maybe we
yeah.
should just keep it at 48. I do understand it. Yes. The chair will recognize Ms. Swart and give her additional 2 minutes.
These agendas being posted online are just for the residents. I know that news media and journalists look at these because they determine, like tonight is East Goshen Township's meeting, as well as the borough has their workshop meeting every other Tuesday. So Mr. Ratu looks at agendas, local radio station, they look at agendas. So this isn't just 24 hours for the residents. This is also for people that want to communicate what's going on here locally. And also, if we tie it into that, if the board would so entertain sharing the board packet, if Mr. Lalonde presents that to you on Wednesday or Thursday of the previous week, if that information goes online at the same time, then the residents and journalists, the media also is aware of what's going to be discussed. So you could maybe tie those 2 topics in together. Thank you.
Okay, well, let's try to talk about this 48-hour, 24-hour thing first. We'll get to that packet thing.
Mr. Chairman, there was a motion and there was actually a vote taken, but I don't think that we correctly recorded the votes.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it was since the
So we shouldn't stray too much from getting that vote done in one way or the other. Either it passes or it fails, and then, if necessary, discuss an alternative motion. So the motion was to amend to 48-hour, minimum of 48 hours posting of the agenda on the website. And you asked for aye votes, and I'm not sure who voted aye, and then we were also asking for
voted
the
aye.
Three of us did, and then Mr. Bacon asked his question, made his comment.
Okay, but you should probably ask for nay votes for that.
Do we have any nay votes? We got 2 nays, and we have 3 ayes. I apologize to Mr. Beacon for taking the vote without asking feedback from his son. So it has passed. Now, a brief discussion. Margie, if I can open on that, can you tell me other townships in the area that do the practice of putting the entire packet online?
East Goshen, Westchester Borough, East Bradford. Those are the 3 I look at immediately. I find a lot of information regarding West Goshen Township on East Goshen Township, because they will post memos about sewer fees and bond issues relating to what's going on here. So they post all their bills. The amount of information, I would encourage all of you to go to East Goshen's website or East Bradford or the borough and just look at the information they post regarding the meetings.
So my question would be to Mr. Stander, what sort of legal issues might raise some flags about doing such a thing as posting our packets online before?
Yeah, I would recommend that the board give discretion to the township manager to post what will probably be, obviously the agenda itself will be posted. If there are any ordinances that have been advertised or resolutions that will be considered, they are certainly proper items to be placed on the agenda. Any proclamations, as we've seen tonight, should be placed on the agenda. Things that the board is considering taking action on a prepared document. However, if the board is discussing a land development plan, it may be difficult for the manager to put every document associated with that land development plan, including review letters, which are not necessarily public documents under the right to know law, on the website. So giving the township manager the discretion to put items for the agenda, documents related to that on the website, I think would serve the board best.
Board members, any comment on that?
I like his comments.
Okay, I think that's a good idea. So we have a motion on that.
I'll move.
Mary, was there a motion? We have a second? I'll second that. Mr. Meekum has a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any other business? No, going once, going twice. Make a motion that we adjourn this meeting.
Second.
Second. Thank you for coming out.